Tom's producer, Logan, here with a quick note. Don't miss the November 8th Sunday Morning Café event featuring Javier Mendoza. The link to get your tickets is in the show notes or at sundaymorningcafe.com. That's sundaymorningcafe.com.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you? Dirty chai 1%.
Hello, everybody. Hi. I'm John Harry Wagner, Tom Wagner's son. Excited to be here with you all. This is Sunday Morning Café, which is something that my dad dreamt up and made reality with the help of a lot of people dedicated to the idea that what's deepest within us is what's most universal between us. A couple one major logistical thing. Bathrooms are back there. As a rule of thumb, if you want food or drink or to use the restroom throughout the course of this talk, just go. There's one right there. It's one bathroom stall. If you go up the stairs, there's one more, but we'll have an intermission where you can grab a drink or something, but if everybody uses the bathroom at the same time, that will be the entire event, which would not be not what we're here for. So that's all from me, and it's now my pleasure to introduce my dad, Dr. Tom Wagner. May I help you?
Chip off the old block, except for that chip's bigger than me. Hey, so welcome. This whole Sunday Morning Cafe thing, I was thinking about this today. You know how in high school there's the tables that people sit at, that awful thing where here's where the jocks sit, and then I was always at the burnout table, the people who smoked exotic vegetables too much. There was geeks now are like the best of all the groups, I think, but back then they were just geeks. And then there were the people who had no table to sit at. It strikes me that that's what's happening in our culture way too much. Social media, people are just going to their tables, and they're not sitting at each other's tables. So part of the Sunday Morning Cafe idea is that we would sit at each other's tables. We'd find that place that's deepest within us and share it a little bit. And what we're looking for is just like pop-up community, not anything where we're going to trade phone numbers and hang out a whole bunch necessarily. I guess you could, but just to be here and sharing something together. So why Royce Martin of all things? Well, there I was minding my own business at a concert, and I'm listening to this musician, and I'm finding myself getting to that deepest place inside, and that's what his music was doing for me. Moreover, I'm looking around and I'm seeing I'm not the only one, and that sense of, kind of a pop-up community, like a one-day community, there was that feeling in the room that came, that feeling of awe that you get sometimes. So I experienced that. And then the second concert I went to of his, I heard something about a self-taught musician who, come to find out, has created his own genre of music. And so I want to tease that story out a little bit today, and I'm hoping we'll get to hear that story through the music. And I hope to step aside enough so you hear the music and hear the music and hear the music, and in our dialogue maybe hear the music. So rather than me talking anymore, how about I introduce you to someone who's become a friend of mine, Royce Martin.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I experienced that night, and what a gift to get to be part of this. I wonder, your calves must be really well built. I was watching your foot go.
Especially for the ragtime stuff.
Yeah.
My foot is as important as my left hand almost, just keeping time.
Why is that?
What is it?
Yeah, why is that? Why is that?
The rhythm is possessive, and so I can't help but feel it in my whole body, and it's just manifesting in different ways. One way is just the left hand, which is moving like a metronome or a backing track. But
Are you guys getting that? He said metronome. Yeah.
Yeah, metronome, beats per minute. And I'm trying to keep track of that. There's so many things to track, like the time, obviously, but then melodic and rhythmic, melodic and harmonic ideas as well. So I'm shaking about it. You know, I can't help but move and dance at the piano bench. Yeah.
So before you came out on stage, I was walking around talking to people, and more than one person asked, "Where are you from?" And that made me think maybe you could give us a little bit about your background. And I'm thinking, because you and I have sat in a couple of rooms waiting to go on an interview and stuff,
Yeah.
I got to know a little bit about your family and where you're from. Would you share just a little bit of that?
For sure. So I'm from St. Louis. Shout out to everybody from St. Louis. Yes, I feel so excited about that because as you'll find out more and more as I tell my story, St. Louis it's not just the arbitrary place to be from for what I'm trying to do with what I call Swagtime. And this city has this deep, illustrious history I spend a lot of time talking about in front of cameras too. So it's been really nice to give that back. But I'm from North County, Bell Fountain neighbors specifically. Yeah, shout out.
Got some Bell Fountain neighbors people out there, it sounds like.
Yeah. My neighbors. I went to high school.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah, it is a great St. Louis
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
I went to Grand Center Arts Academy. So in the city, right across the street from Powell Symphony Hall, down the street from the Fox.
But you weren't going to start out that way.
True.
Why don't you tell them that part too?
Yeah, so I was in Riverview Garden School District, and that's in North County. Somewhere around like 2008, I think they lost accreditation, and so my parents were trying to figure out a new place for me and my sister to go to. But I had so many friends in Riverview that I didn't want to leave, and my sister is a singer, so she was really like excited about this new art school that had just opened up, Grand Center Arts Academy. And so she enrolled, and my mom was like, I'm not about to drive 2 different places in the morning and take y'all to school, so I had to go there too. And I wasn't playing an instrument at the time, but you had to audition to get into the school, so I auditioned on drums. So the percussion thing, piano is a percussion instrument after all, but the percussion thing is it's in my psychology. So Grand Center Arts Academy, I went there for middle school and high school, yeah.
And you're from a large family, as I recall. You're one of 7, like I'm one of 7, but
Yeah.
I'm in the middle. Where are you in the lineup?
I'm the youngest.
The youngest
I'm the
of
youngest,
7.
yeah. So the baby of the family. Sometimes I feel like I'm the baby of the world, in a way. What I mean is
Is that what your older brothers and sisters tell you?
if they tell me that, it's as an insult. Yeah, the baby of the family.
So I'm just going to ask this because Sunday Morning Cafe is evocative of some kind of spiritual something or other. Was there a faith tradition, a religious tradition you were raised in?
Yeah, I grew up in the church, the black church, and I always feel like I need to make the distinction. It's not like it's anything really, really useful to know about race when it comes to like spiritual topics. Obviously, like spirituality is bigger than race, and but the black tradition is like the music, this music essence, and the blues that traveled through the Black American zeitgeist from the 20th century onward, probably even before that, honestly, that landed in the black church sound today is just what shaped my experience with Swagtime. I mean, what I'm doing now, I'm succeeding to put left hand groove with right hand harmonic storytelling, like bebop and all that. But I'm saying this because in the church I heard all this shout music, they call it, where the music is moving fast. You know what I'm saying? All that.
Can you show it to us a little?
I need a whole piano system to do it, but I need a click track. That's it. That's actually what I'm thinking of. The click track was like integral to this sound and still is, but I'm mimicking the click track with the left hand. Like that type of stuff. And it fits together so well that I'm like, man, we need a secular version of this, and not just for the church tradition. So this is all like the backlog for what I'm doing musically. But yeah, that's the long answer for, yeah, I grew up in the church.
Yeah, that's a story you'll hear often enough. Someone who took what they picked up in church and brought it out into the world. You know?
Yeah, true, actually, true.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, because I talked to you off on the side, I know that your sister, who was a singer, got a keyboard, and that was like a launching point for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell that story, and then maybe the story about how you learned how to play piano?
Yeah, so it was Christmas 2013, and I was trying to figure out what we got for Christmas, so I was sneaking around, like, in my parents' room. I figured out, like, they had this big box behind their bed, and I peeked inside of it, and so I never told this part of the story, actually, but I knew it was a piano or a keyboard before Christmas, basically, and she ended up like they ended up gifting it to her that Christmas. But it really wasn't until March the following year, 2014. I was born in 2000, so I was 14 in 2014, and I can never forget my age thanks to
Yeah,
her.
and thanks to you, I can't forget my age either. So you open this box, she opens the box, and
Yeah.
somewhere in March, what happens for you?
I was doing that with one finger and trying to figure out how to increase my dexterity such that I could play more melodies and actually play the instrument. But I was just so curious about, what was I curious about? I'm still trying to figure this out really, really. There are certain things that I needed to express in my life at that time, and the piano was proving over and over again to be a great medium for it. Computationally, psychologically, socially, it's just a lot I needed to say and express. And the piano was a great medium, translator, and it still functions that way in my life, yeah.
Was it around that time that you went on YouTube to find out how to use both hands?
Yeah, definitely. So I was watching these YouTube videos. They sometimes call them piano synesthesia. Like the keys, the notes will fall down onto a key bed, and they sound, and whenever they make contact with the key bed, and the notes illuminate. But long story short, that's how I learned the piano playing system, like just studying which notes came after.
If we were like a fly on the wall listening to you back then, what would we have heard with your hands on the keyboard right now?
It depends on how far back you go.
Like from the beginning, what would be something you would have played with?
It would have sounded like that. And then I got to like I was telling you with this one finger approach. So it's not enough to just play with one finger, but you can't see it, but I'm just using my pointer finger. And that spread out. I mean, I wanted to do more, and I wanted to actually play the right notes more reliably. And so I started getting more and more hip to tunes that could help me do that. And so I developed a deep fascination with this big high art European classical literature that I could work with as etudes. And they were so expressive, so it was like good for dexterity and good for expression.
So that move from Riverview Gardens to Grand Center Arts Academy, you were telling me that all of a sudden now you have access to 14 keyboards at school and one at home.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the big boost to the classical interest at that point as well?
Yeah, my interest in classical music, I feel like it's just been developing just in my mind in the backlog for a long time, even before I found the piano. But definitely that was watered when I got to Grand Center, because I was around all of a sudden a lot of musicians and even young people who were trying to do something like that. So I thought that I just found it more possible, basically. And like the piece I played, I opened with the Maple Leaf Rag, Deep St. Louis lore, by the way. There was a kid at my school who was playing it, and I thought it sounded cool. I thought it had like a beat drop, and it sounded like the gospel stuff I was hearing in the church. And so I thought that just inspired me to help. It inspired me to pick up the notes and try to learn the actual right notes, like pick up the score. Because at first I was playing like just exclusively by ear. I'm still playing by ear, but I use my ears and my eyes to cross-confirm what I'm taking in with any given piece.
I'm wondering if I'm the only one. I'd like to hear something from that classical love of yours. Would you mind playing a piece or two of that?
Sure, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I love Chopin. Thank you.
So being a non-musical guy myself, I'm at a loss for words. Like I wanted to say that second thing you did was so big and a lot of textures to it. Like a whole spectrum of things you were up to there. It seemed like to me.
True.
Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that's the magic of Debussy, Claude Debussy, French impressionist, quote unquote, composer. I put it in quotes because impressionist was actually an insult in Debussy's day, at least originally, and some of the composers even rejected that term. But the criticism was that instead of actually painting a picture like an art piece, for example, from the Romantic era might paint with a striking clarity and hard lines, the Impressionism era is like dreamy, and it doesn't give you a full description of what happened, but an impression of what happened. And so some people might think that works as an insult. I think that works to the advantage of the explanation for the music, because it's a dreamy thing. Music is a dreamy thing.
Well, so speaking of that, when you were playing the first one, that was Chopin, right?
Mm-hmm.
What were you feeling on the inside when you were playing that? What were you conscious of while you were playing that? If you can even
question.
answer it.
Maybe I can. I love the lyricism of Chopin. They called him the piano poet, and it's what you can use the notes to do, like how you can make phrases with notes that mimic vernacular, and all that stuff. It's an emotional language. It can go further than words can sometimes to say things. Drama. So I'm trying to like use the notes as, I'm trying to use the score as a strong suggestion. I'm not trying to deviate too far to lose the intent of the composer, but I want to use it like a map wherein I can travel to all these different places that the code accounts for and some places that it doesn't account for to like help tell the story.
The other day we were at Fox 2 waiting for our interview, and you told me you had just played Chopin and you felt like you were in the room with him or something like that. Did I hear that the right way?
Maybe, yeah, I probably said something like that.
Yeah, like candles and all, the whole thing is what you were saying.
Oh, yeah. I'm imagining him writing this in candlelight. That's another thing about it. It just adds to the drama, you know, sick, frail Chopin in the dark, in a drafty place, writing this music. And so much is at stake. And I think for that reason, he was able to get pretty close to expressing through music the condition of mankind, honestly.
So I know this composer here in the 21st century, sitting on the piano bench right next to me. Tell me about what happens when your sister's keyboard quits working at home, where you're spending all these hours and hours and hours learning how to play piano, and what you do to see if you can get yourself your own keyboard.
That was actually a pretty emotional time, honestly. We didn't have a bench or a stand for it, so I would play it on my lap on the couch in the family room. And I was an asthmatic. I feel like I grew out of my asthma in a way, but I would always have like this breathing treatment while I was playing the piano. And I like to hear the piano noise over the machine going. You know how loud those breathing treatments are. And one time remember like the keyboard was having like a short circuit on the power strip, and it just like progressively got worse basically. And one day I dramatically pushed it off my lap, and I knew that we needed another piano or a keyboard or something like that, but I just didn't have the resources. I think like I just thought it was unlikely that my parents would figure out a place to buy a piano and then we would actually get one. And so I joined a fellowship. It was like a kind of cartoonish where like you're wondering where you're gonna get some money or something that you need in order to effectuate something that you desire. And it was like the day it broke, one of my teachers at school was like, yeah, there's a fellowship called OBS, Organization Black Struggle, where you can like learn about the Black American plight for $1,000 after 6 weeks or something like that. And so I joined the program. And I know I'm taking the story a lot of different directions, but with that money, I got a new keyboard, basically. And that was this Yamaha. I no longer have that keyboard, but in the process of that, I filled out an application for Pianos for People. Thank you. And Pianos for People, big shout out to them. They gave me a free piano and lessons.
Well, now wait a minute. Why don't you say the letter you wrote them?
Oh, yeah. So you can't ask for a piano like for yourself. You have to be asking for it for somebody who needs it, somebody other than you, basically. But my workaround for this was that I pretended to be my mom. Like, yeah. My son is a young, talented prodigy. He like is the most deserving recipient of a piano in the whole city, like something crazy like that. And so I wrote that application and submitted it. And it turns out actually that wasn't the application that got me the piano, but whole time my orchestra teacher, even though I couldn't play an instrument, they put me in band and orchestra class at Grandson Arts Academy. I'm so glad they did that, but at that time I was terrified. But he filled out an application for me for a piano from Pianos for People, and that's the one that got accepted, and February 20th, 2016, they delivered it. So it was great. And that instrument, I was just turned up because I needed to, something about the wood and the wire of it all just helped out. Like you can feel the vibration in a different way. So that was really great for me to have as a 16-year-old. Yeah.
So I'm wanting them to hear the story of when you won that contest at the Fox. I don't know if you'd want to play any part of the piece that you played, or if you wouldn't want to win that prize. Because it seems like that was a pretty big stake in the ground, like, or a nodal point for your career.
It was. It really, really was.
And I know this story, but I don't know that they all do.
Yeah, were you all there April 23rd, 2016? Yeah, so this whole period in life, I was trying to upload into my brain these big classical scores and do a deep dive into jazz history and local history and figure out all this stuff about music. Just using my brain to absorb as much musical data as I could. And I wanted to like spill it back out too in a way that was original. I tried to filter all of this stuff from the cultural zeitgeist, from classical to jazz to ragtime, through my own impression of the world as a 16-year-old. And so I was angsty and all that, and I decided to write this big dramatic romantic era styled piece and submit it for the Fox Teen Talent competition. And yeah, the Fox Teen Talent competition was a great opportunity to perform at the Fox. I was like, even if I don't win the competition, just performing at the Fox would be a nice thing to have done. And man, it was a crazy night. I was so nervous. I was going through like teenage heartbreak and stuff like that. And so I'm like writing this piece and just putting all of it, channeling it into the music. And miraculously, I won the competition, and it was a lot of awards I went home with. Audience Choice Award, Classical Music Scholarship for Originality, and another one. Voss Family Originality.
Best looking?
Yeah, true.
I thought that was it.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Or maybe the guy most likely for a dad to want his daughter to marry you kind of guy?
Where is he? Where's his dad?
I don't know. You might be looking at him. I don't know. So do you remember enough of that piece that you put together for them to give us a taste of it?
Yes and no, but I'll try it for you because I love y'all. It was definitely an A-flat minor. What do you think of that boy that did that? I mean, seriously, when you look back on him, what do you think of him? That's a serious piece of music. Yeah, that's a good question, really. I'm proud of him, honestly. I'm proud of 16-year-old Royce. 2016 was a really interesting year, and I feel like culturally a lot was happening. Mumble rap hit the scene. I don't even know why I just took this detour, but mumble rap was a really big thing at the time. And I was so curious about like all this music, basically, long story short. And I was trying to figure out ways to synthesize it, and that was one approach. Even though that's like, it sounds, I mean, it's definitely in the classical world. It was like a part of my impressions of film score music too. And so it's in a way more accessible, and it's got like a modern catchiness that I like and enjoyed about it. So I'm really happy at myself for following the passion to compose and look deeper into what I liked as far as my taste went, and exploring that out loud.
So at the very beginning when we got started in here, you played a a ragtime piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to hear more about that movement in you, and maybe to give us the background of what you've shared with me before, where ragtime even comes from.
Yeah, for sure. So this was a turn of the 20th century funk music, really, really like first uniquely American style to hit the like to create the pop charts as we know it in a deep way. It's syncopated music, and for that reason, people at that time were confused by it, and in polite society at least, a lot of them said that they rejected it and wrote about rejecting it and all that stuff, like all these scathing articles you can read about ragtime from the 1900s. But that just put a taboo tint on it, and whatever's taboo is like it won't make you like it less. It probably make you like it more, and it seems like my read of history is that that's the story for ragtime, and St. Louis was a global epicenter for this emerging genre. The Rosebud Bar was owned by this guy named Tom Turpin. Now that building has been replaced with the FBI building, where it's near the soccer stadium that just got built. But it was the hub, like the mecca for ragtime nightlife, and this was a global pop craze. It was a global pop craze, and people from across the country would come to the Rosebud and hang out, exchange ideas, compete with each other in cutting contests. And Scott Joplin moved here to join this thriving ragtime world with these virtuosos and writers who are really trying to push this sound away from low-class music to big scenes like Broadway. I mean, Scott Joplin was writing ragtime opera, and he was trying to synthesize accessible art and high art. And he wrote a code for that helps him to stand the test of time. And the Maple Leaf Rag was the archetype. That was the OG code, I believe, to set a syncopated polyrhythmic approach to otherwise straight Eurocentric norms. And that rippled through the 20th century and exposed itself as jazz, as rock and roll, disco, and hip-hop.
Slow that down. Syncopated, what? How'd you say that? Because I think you're saying something important right now.
Syncopation is a defining characteristic of ragtime, and ragtime set the syncopated blueprint that pop music thereafter enjoys. I mean, every pop style is syncopated. Every pop style.
So it sounded like you were saying that was over and against a Eurocentric approach.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I'd like you to just tease out a little more of what you're saying about what ragtime was up to that wasn't going on at the time, and why.
Yeah. It's the continuous emphasis on the offbeat. It's like an African approach. I mean, it's not exclusively African, but everywhere in the African diaspora, there's syncopated music. And the way that it interacted with the European music in the American context specifically is like, I mean, American pop music is pop music of the world now. That's what happened with the ragtime experiment. So it spread out, and St. Louis has a lot to say about it. St. Louis has probably the best claim of any city to ragtime. But so syncopation is like stress on the offbeat. So the offbeat, by definition, is where the left hand isn't playing, like it's when it's off work, basically. So in between the left hand making contact with the keyboard, the right hand will make contact with the keyboard. And that's syncopation in a simple way to define it. And it creates like if you use it effectively and not just in this rudimentary way for my explanation, you can actually make music with it. So instead of a straight march, it's a march. Shout out to Beethoven. That's a Beethoven piece, but it's all on a beat. And the syncopation approach is you can add all these improvisatory notes on the beats.
You're getting some applause here. So you had told me, Royce, that the people who were brought against their will to this country didn't share the same languages, except they shared a musical language, so they could communicate with each other. Would you mind spelling that out a little bit, like you did for me?
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, how that shows up in the ragtime world.
definitely. At the very least, a lot of times, people from different cultures with different customs and values even didn't speak the same languages as other people.
On the plantations
in a
is, I think, what
plantation,
you were
right.
telling me, yeah.
In a place where they were kept in captivity. And so there are different modes of communication that literally must crop up in order for people to survive. And apparently rhythm it might even predate complex languages themselves in African societies. And so, you can even take an anthropological approach to it and figure out the utility of rhythm. My interest is in the rhythmic use for communication. And something like 15 years after emancipation, ragtime starts to crop up and is defined by its rhythm. And this is the first time the world got to hear the black sound, the black American sound. And these people were shouting Jubilee. And the music scores it. The music scores it. It sounds like it in a way. It's got this tragedy and triumph dichotomy happening at the same time, and it's this happy music. But in my mind, I always thought that it had like a deep, sad undertone to it. So the rhythm part of the equation can't be underestimated, and it's still, the syncopated tradition just gave us, it's hard, you just cannot underestimate, the syncopated tradition gave us our favorite genres, and it's spread out and it's still spreading, and there's so many ways you can, in real time, connect with other musical improvising people and have a conversation. Like, I'm improvising with my words right now, and so does everybody when they talk. And you can use music as a medium to do the same thing under structured rules. That's what jazz is. That was a great revelation of the 20th century, thanks to the ragtime syncopation experiment.
So here you and I are using verbal language.
Right.
What if we were just to let you go right now and have some fun with your fingers on the keyboard expressing just what you talked about?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah. I'm noticing people are not getting up to get drinks and food, so you must be doing something right.
Try some of the champagne back there.
That might make it even more fun, you think?
Yeah, especially the ragtime section.
Yeah. How many pieces of music was that right there?
That was just one. That was just one. That was the Magnetic Rag by Scott Joplin. It was the last piece he ever wrote. I mean, the last piece that was published while he was still alive and conscious about publishing it, at least 1914.
So I don't know what was happening out in the, for all of you. There was a point where I found myself wanting to rock my feet. Another point where I wanted to close my eyes, like when you were playing Chopin. What were you feeling on the inside through that piece?
It's like different sections ask for different approaches, and sometimes I just feel like following the score won't allow me to go to those places. And so despite the best intentions of the purists out there, I'm like deviating a lot, because like sometimes people were like, yeah, don't do that, you know, just play what's on the score. And they try to teach people that way. I mean, it's good to know that, but I don't know. It's like some sections call for, I think, a kind of rubato playing where the metronome is less important, and the expressiveness of like the lyricism of the melody, for example, becomes more priority. And then speed sometimes it's like it's asking to happen on certain sections, and then I want to collide it with bebop and all that stuff. So yeah, it's different approaches you can take, and I like to just make those decisions in a moment based on how I feel like the audience feels and how I feel, and how the weather feels. So everything.
Do you suppose that Scott Joplin would be proud of you?
I suppose so.
Because I can't help but think that he'd be like, "That's what I wanted you to do, just like that. Don't be chained, you know, to the score."
Yeah, I
Go with
suppose so. It depends on when he and I met. Like, if it was if I time traveled then I don't. Maybe he would have been like, "Don't play so fast and don't play, don't take so many liberties with certain sections that I want to sound a particular way," as any composer might. And if he could time travel to this moment, like if he just woke up from a coma or something like that in 2026, he would probably understand more the approach that I'm taking. So yeah, different periods come with different contexts.
Well, I'm getting schooled over here. That's good. So I'm aware that we're going to be taking an intermission in just a second.
Okay.
Do you think we have room for just one more tune before we go?
Sure, yeah. Thank you.
So that takes us into intermission. We have lots of food back there. You'll want to load that up, and lots of drinks back there. You were told by my son where your bathrooms are. And Abby, you had something you wanted to say, I think.
Hi all, my name's Abby. I get to work some with Tom. I'm gonna put a flyer on your table for the November 8th Sunday Morning Cafe with Javier Mendoza. If you're enjoying today with Royce and Tom, I think you'll enjoy November 8th too. There's a QR code. If you scan it, you can get your ticket early to make sure that you save your seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Royce Martin. So you know the problem with this format is you're going to play beautiful music where everybody just wants me to be quiet.
Yeah.
And I just want to be quiet, but I want to make sure we get your story. Yeah, definitely. And at the, I was going to say the halftime, at intervention, I was hearing people saying they have questions for you. So I was thinking maybe it'd be good for us to entertain some of those questions. Before we jump right in, there's someone with a microphone who, Yumi, would you mind bringing the mic over to people? Now, I've been told that when you bring a mic to somebody, you should hold on to it and not walk away for fear that they'll just keep talking endlessly. So Yumi, if that happens, you pull it away from people, okay? Because we want to hear from Royce. Yes, Paul. Yeah.
Royce, you were playing on a keyboard on your couch in 2014.
True.
It didn't work all the way. And then...
Can everyone hear the question okay? They're not hearing it okay. Is it on? It is on.
Okay back there? Okay.
Just put it right up to your
All
mouth,
right.
maybe.
Thanks. I don't want to be too loud. And so in 2014, you're playing on your lap on the couch. And then in 2016, you write an intricate piece that wins a St. Louis, a pretty significant competition. They do that every year, and it's a lot. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, maybe I can. Honestly, I truly mean maybe, because I think I can explain it, but sometimes I feel like I'm not getting at the essence of why I became so interested all of a sudden in such deep stuff that was just not that easy to find. I mean, these scores, it's definitely not accessible music. It was like, I felt like some of the hardest pieces ever written that I was trying to all of a sudden attempt at the piano, despite having started so recently. And just so much was, you see, I'm like defaulting to vague statements about it. So much was happening, so I decided to become a prodigy. It's like, it's not that simple. Like,
Can I jump
Yeah,
in
for
and just
sure.
add a question to his question?
Definitely.
I had asked you, at some point you were working 8 hours a day as a kid. Back when I was busy smoking exotic vegetables and doing nothing, you were busy 8 hours a day learning how to play. Where did that drive come from?
Yeah, so it was an ecosystem. Like my dad, he is like a tough ass, and he would tell me stuff like, son, if you did something hard for 30 minutes a day, by day 5 you'll be better than 80% of people you know at that thing. I remember him telling me that, and I was like, true, actually. Like, I was like, wait, when you put it like that, you know, I can spread it out across days, and I can achieve something. Okay, what is it that I want to achieve? And I felt like I had a lot to say, but it was being left unsaid for a lot of different reasons. And like I was telling you before, the piano just was proven to be a great medium for saying those things, which fueled my fascination for big expressive pieces from the classical period. And how I did it, I mean, like you said, I would go to my sister's dorm. She went to a nearby college, and they had a grand piano in the auditorium. And so I would sneak in there to play the piano. And no joke, I would practice like from 10 a.m. when my mom would drop me off all the way to 8 p.m., like all day. And I was trying to play Beethoven, all the Beethoven scores and stuff. And I just couldn't put it down because it felt very essential. And also there was another element to it, like people started to ask me about it, and I felt like I had to do something about that publicly. And I knew about the teen talent competition because my sister was an artist, and I just sort of knew about certain things that were happening in the city. And so the competition, I wanted to perform on stage at the Fox, at the very least for social clout. And I also had a lot to say, and so it was like, okay, let me try this. So I could probably get closer to your answer if I spent more time just dealing with that, but...
Can I kick something in again?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I think that if Alfred Adler, in my line of work, were to find out that you had a tough ass for a dad and that you're working 8 hours a day, he'd probably say there's a neurosis there in this young man where he's trying to win the approval of a father, and he's trying to overcome some sense of inferiority.
Yeah.
But Rollo May, who I think is a better psychologist for my money, who was a psychoanalyst as well as one of the fathers of existential psychology. Fortunately, there weren't any mothers because women didn't get to do stuff back then. But what he said was what Rick Rubin seems to be saying these days, which is there is a creative presence in the universe that seems to find its way into people and wants to express something through them. And that animates them, not anything to do with neurosis at all. It animates them to want to create and want to express. Does that resonate with you at all?
Yeah, both of those psychological takes I feel resonate with me. I definitely had a sort of inferiority complex, especially at that time. I mean, the angsty teenager thing sort of helped that. But it was a lot. I mean, weird things that I feel like psychologically could have more attention, even in our whole culture, like our whole society could probably talk more about this. But I think that helped me to find myself in the locked in the practice room for hours and hours and hours to prove something both to myself and maybe to somebody else, like my dad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a status I made on Facebook in 2013, no joke, on Facebook. You know how you look back at your old statuses and you cringe? The status literally is...
I've never done that.
But it was in 2013, so I was a 13-year-old. But I mean, it's not funny, but the line was, "I feel inferior." No joke. No joke. And so I discovered that recently, and I'm like, yeah, that seems like it could have a effect on how much time I spend at the instrument and what I'm trying to say.
Which is interesting that whatever this creative force, this source is what Rick Rubin calls it, that it might even use that sense of inferiority in us and turn that into I guess kind of an engine that can move us in that direction, that creative energy. Yeah. Hey, I'm also aware there may be other questions out here that we want to get to.
Good question.
Anybody have something that they were, Ashley. We have a microphone for her? Oh, I'm sorry. Did we already have somebody picked out? Okay.
That's okay. First of all, thank you so much. It's been really a pleasure listening to you. And I was going to say thank you for sharing your gift, but a gift kind of makes it sound like it was just this thing that was given to you. And now hearing that you've really taken it and sculpted it and molded it is really phenomenal. So thank you. But my question is, what are you listening to right now that's feeding your soul? Both what is excellent that's feeding your soul through its excellence, and what's like your sleeve of Oreo cookies like it's feeding me right now? Like it's like not that excellent, but like you just love it.
Good question. Thank you for the nice words. I listen to a lot of different music and different styles. I love Charlie Parker and bebop, and the structured improvisation and the information loaded into that bebop lyricism is satisfying for my brain. And it's like I listen to it in any context, really. Like if I'm going out on a Saturday night, I'm listening to it, and it's both like party music and academic music for me. And going to Berklee helped with that. I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, surrounded by other nerds, and so it helped. And they really helped me turn up my fascination for later jazz than ragtime too. So, but also classical music. I'm listening to a lot of that. Listening to Chopin and Liszt and Beethoven, big pieces that are narrative based. So the form is linear, like instead of cyclical. These forms, like I was saying about bebop, actually just help me to think. I just like to think while listening to music, I guess, like everybody else. But so big art music, I find a lot of time on my playlists, but also pop music, like The Weeknd is my favorite pop star. A lot of rap. I love rap. J. Cole is my favorite rapper. Kendrick Lamar I was listening to on the way here. There's so many people, like I feel like I'm leaving out a lot of stuff, but yeah, so it's a broad combination of high art and accessible art that I'm digesting all the time. Some stuff that people think that I don't know, piano prodigies, if I can even call myself that, like might not listen to. I love that stuff, so you probably be surprised.
So you mentioned you went to Berklee I want to draw that arc from winning that contest to meeting the owner of the Fox, and how it is you got to Berklee to start with. I mean, that's just worth a few words telling people how that happened.
Yeah, so I was still 2 years.
You all know Berklee, what it is? So think Juilliard for classic, Berklee is like the school for contemporary music, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I had to figure out if I was going to do music or not, because I knew that I had somewhat of a passion for it. I was discovering more and more. And I was like, at the same time, the whole idea of pursuing music as a career was it was a misty thing. Like I couldn't tell what was really out there and how to pursue it. I knew I didn't want to be a regular type of, I didn't want to play regular jazz. Like I didn't want to go straight into the jazz world and do the thing that I see done a lot. Really, I can't put it any other way. And I didn't want to be a regular classical player either. Like I didn't want to sacrifice classical music for jazz or sacrifice jazz music for classical music. I wanted to play all of those styles. I wanted to improvise. At the same time, I wanted to play almost verbatim classical scores. And at the same time, like my brother, shout out my brother Royce Martin, his rap name is Tank the Machine. I grew up watching him rap and stuff, and it just uploaded into my psychology all of these words to put over a rhythmic approach, music with a rhythmic approach. So I'm like, maybe I could see myself rapping in the future, but that was distant. And I just had something to fulfill with the piano. And so, yeah, I was like deciding what I wanted to do, because I didn't just want to go into music and do the same old thing. And Berklee kind of was a prospect, but despite what a lot of people believe, I wasn't really a great student. I had terrible grades in school, and I just couldn't focus in classes, and I was a class clown type of kid. I was a real prankster, no joke. And so I'm like, man, like at the last couple months of school, the principal pulled me in the office and she was like, Royce, do you plan on graduating? And I'm like, yeah, I know music might be the way for me. And so all I'm saying is I had to get more and more serious about the pursuit of music because it's what I really, really wanted to do. And at the same time, I felt like there was a cultural need for something very specific in St. Louis.
I'm remembering you telling me that prize got you a scholarship to go someplace.
Yeah, true.
Which may have paid for a couple years at UMSL.
Yeah, it was the awards that I won were scholarships and money in the bank. Like I could cash out a couple checks that I got that night.
Do you remember what you told me that the owner of the Fox said to you?
Yeah. So okay. So I had 2 years to figure it out, basically, from 2016 as a 16-year-old sophomore to 2018 as a senior. And so I started developing a whole classical set, because after I won the competition, I just met all these people in the community who loved classical music and people who wanted to teach me piano. And so I was like, okay, I'll do the classical thing. And I learned this big classical repertoire so that I could use it for college auditions. And there were a couple schools that I was like, I had gotten into and I was able to go there, but it was just so expensive. And so finally, at the very end of it, like almost when it was too late, Mary Strauss, big shout out to Mary Strauss here in the St. Louis community, for real. She like sat me down in her office. She was like, Royce, most people in St. Louis think like this, holding her hands close together, if you can't see me. She's like, I think like this, holding her hands far apart. And she's like, you going to Berklee? And it was just before that, though, that I thought I was about to go to UMSL. I would have still studied piano, and I probably would have studied a combination of jazz and classical piano with a great teacher there named Alla Vojska-Ponikovic. I'm definitely pronouncing it wrong, but Alla, I'll just say for short. But she was a great piano teacher. So I ended up going to Berklee in 2018 after graduating that same year.
How about that? I was trying to ferret that out because Odysseus is kind of a famous movie out these days. And that hero's journey where the obstacle comes, you know, I can't go to Riverview Gardens anymore, but look at this, I will do this. And there you meet the blessing of a music teacher that unbeknownst to you writes and gets you a piano for your house, you know? And you are driven by this tough-ass dad and other things, and all of a sudden now you've got this benefactor who wants to help you, and you're going to Berklee. Mm-hmm. And I'll leave the story there just long enough to see if there's another question out here, and then I want to come back to that story if that's okay. Ashley, I saw your hand up earlier. And then we ought to be hearing some of your music too, I think.
Happily.
Hi, everyone. I work with Royce at the Scott Joplin House. Wonderful as always.
Hard to hear you. If you want to get your mouth right on that thing and speak up.
I wanted to ask you about Swagtime. Why is it so important? What are you contributing to our music history?
So she's asking about Swagtime, so I guess you'll have to explain what it is. Yeah, true. And then the second question was, what's it contributing to our, what now, our music?
what is it contributing to our music culture?
Our music culture.
Where is it stemming from? Ragtime, swing,
Yeah.
blues.
And maybe
pop?
you'll even find yourself wanting to play a little of that too.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, perfect segue. It's a Swagtime is genius. It's a ragtime, jazz, rap, EDM fusion, like where ragtime locks in with EDM to give the impression that it gave when people first heard it once upon a time. The impression, I mean, is the beat, you know, the four on the floor drum beat that now characterizes raves was the four on the floor beat that characterized the 1900s saloon. And all of that was intentionally washed over and torn down in the St. Louis context for deeply racial reasons, I must admit. And so it's got this social element to it that helps to reclaim history, where I feel like I'm on a heist mission to break ragtime out the museum or something like that and give it back to the streets. Okay, and then that's the social element, but then there's I guess a computational thing where the sole virtuoso at the instrument is the beat maker as well as the rapper, as well as the sequencer on the synthesizer, as soon as I get enough money to actually afford a synthesizer. But all of that is helping to reposition the virtuoso back into the fore in popular music, basically, which I think popular music really needs, more musicality. So yeah, so much more I could say about that, but it's combining all of what I was saying with dense, long-form, linear-based music with enduring cyclical music, like loop-oriented music that you hear on the radio, putting that together to make something new and artful.
So this is a genre you have created.
Yeah, true.
And so maybe you could let us hear it.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm working on an album and a mixtape right now. The album is called Once Upon a Swagtime, and I'm creating that in New York primarily, and the mixtape I'm primarily creating that in St. Louis. Both will be available. The album will be available next year in July. The mixtape as early as this month. Haters gonna shred when I make the money spread. One by one, thank you, come again. Hit the cakewalk like I talk no Ted. Entertain a whole city, Red Fox, big set. About to make a scene, stay for the creds, wait for the text. Yeah. I was down bad plug, left me on red, but I'm AirPod Pro, bro. I'ma get ahead. Made it off the internet, time well spent. Royce watch won't TikTok, Ben 10. Love might be hate, salt sugar blend in. So I'm on a low, in a cut, Neosporin. Climbing to the top, bottoms on red. Lost a lot of friends, trying to break trends. Young star, earn my stripes, call me Mr. Prez. Blues on my chest, cause I love to represent. Love don't win if it's really genuine, but still I'm at the door like word of Benjamins. Blowing through a check like it's time to pay the rent. Found the art up in the trend, so it's hard to be content. Finna take a chance like here we go again, cause I get in my head like every now and then. Trying to be the man people highly recommend. Pillsbury Doughboy, winner brought the bread. Knew that I was next since the early 2010s, but the way I'm about to flex, you gon' think we at the gym. Looking for a win, some told me look within. Am I really myself when I say I'm really him? Trying to play it cool, hella smooth, hella trim, but these lines from the dark side, bars milling in. Swag time, S on my chest, Clark Kent, finna take city back. This where it ends, get my respect, let go all of my regrets. My brain too cold, I might grow me out some dreads. Thick, not tall, blue face, big spread. Trying to make a triple on top what I spend, but don't get it twisted, I am not one of them. My Air Force One's all white, newlywed, feeling verified, I don't need a blue check. Staying out the mix for the checks, no stress. Why would I pretend do it all for the can? So I'm looking at the pen like, where do I begin? Trying to get a win with my 2020 twins. Never broke again, took it all on the chin. Facing these demons on sights in the man. Facing these demons on sights in the man. Facing these demons on sights in the man. Thank you. you. That was a song called On Sight. On Sight. Swagtime, I'm lit, yeah. Nerdy boy with a twist. Unemployed with a gift. Can't get rich without a risk. I'm a star, make a wish. Matrix, I'm a glitch. They ain't want me to exist. Bet I won't let them forget. Yeah, 23s for the kicks. Melodies for the lift. Everything makes sense. Enemies don't exist. Paying hellas in rent. Room the size of a tent. But I'm really brilliant. Yeah, check the Empire Press. Yeah, making Empire steps. Gotta let go of regret. I got breath to protect, so ice all around my neck, yeah. Really calm, never stress. Send me all of the tests, never fall for the threats. Yeah, what's next? Hell yeah, I'm blessed. Playing life like chess, playing life like Steph. Making calls like the ref, made a king from the keys. Superpower in my jeans, searching for the golden geese. Whole time it was me, whole time it was we. Holding down POP, lost and found in a beat. We lost crowns to the streets, putting down all the screens. Looking around at the scene, hear the sounds of the screams. I'm wondering how we still sleep. I'm wondering how to keep it P. When all the boys look like me, they never got to their dream. Now they never say cheese. Scanning my memories before the gangsters lost glee. Not trying to make it about me, but ghosts gotta lead the sheep, yeah. Problems steady calling like I caused them. I know how to solve them. I'm a prophet, can't go back to starving. Put that on my mama. Cut through traffic like a Magic Johnson. Yes, I'm really balling. I just keep on coming. They can't stop them. Shoulda wear a condom. Probably stuffing money in my pocket. Can't fit in the wallet. You trying to gossip, but you broke. It's time to change the topic. Caught up in them papers like a novel. I was feeling awful. Made it out that tape. I'm feeling great. Feeling awesome. I stepped through the valley clean. 23s down on my feet. Gigi holding up my jeans. Diamond shining. Bling, bling, bling. Chain and ring on Listerine. I'm clean up out the magazine. Hades try to intervene. Touch me, it's gonna be a scene. Dreaming, streaming, streaming, stream. Through the pain, I keep it P. Went from geeks to limousines. The optics boost my self-esteem. Watch my partner go to sleep. That grief will make you make believe. Sheesh. Peace will make you hate the streets. Screaming backwards, 413 St. Louis in my blood. I be maxing, trying to see what's cracking, hollering out what's up. I'm just bragging, see it's just a tactic. They gon' show me love. Lucy Phoenix, steady blowing up my phone. I don't pick up, cause I'm dreaming, trying to duck the skeezer. Schemer, see I'm up, and I peeped that I can't go out weeping. Made cream out the mud, I'm on 10, fountain to the fans. Never broke again. Haters trying to pass me first, they gotta catch me. Catch me rolling in the foreign, pockets swollen, top is open, thoughts approaching, so provoking. They just trolling, I got motion. I'm the one that caused commotion. From the crib to now I'm chosen. To the hills from now I'm not golden. I'm the go, and I know it, and I'm flowing impeccably free. Criminal records, I break them with ease. Love it or hate it when looking at me. I cannot see you from in the TV. Some of my bros face on the T's, so I don't play like I'm more CD. So I don't wait like it's coming to me. Life is egregious or it's a dream.
Someday, you will be telling your whoever, you'll be telling them, I was in a venue and I heard Royce Martin. There were like 60 to 70 of us. That intimate setting, I got to see him. My goodness.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think we have time for a whole bunch of questions, but we may have time for one or two. Is there somebody that really has something they wanted to say out loud to Royce or wanted to ask? Over here.
Hey, my name's Heath. Royce came in one day, asked me to play piano at Menard's over across the corner. And one of the things we have to do as general managers is have him audition for us. Imagine this guy playing for 10 minutes, and then he looks at you and says, "Did I get the job?"
Did you get the job?
Well, he got it, and every day he is so kind and gracious to everybody that comes in the store. I think that's the main thing about Royce is he's such a good soul, good person, and very humble, and I appreciate that about him. But I guess my question will be, what do you want to pass on to the younger generation? Obviously, you have your story from being 14, growing up, kind of doing something you've dreamed of. Is that something that you want to share with the youth of today's world, in such a divisive world with music being able to unite? Have you had any chance to do that with youth, and do you have any plans of doing that in the future?
Yeah.
So it's these kind of superficial questions.
Shout out to Heath. Yeah, definitely. I want to give back. That's my biggest mission, honestly. It's my biggest mission. And I'm really saying this out loud in that way for the first time, but I always knew that. Like, I feel so sad about a lot of people who get trapped into thinking they can't be themselves. And a lot of people go out very sad that way, especially, I just have to be honest about, like, especially where I'm coming from. And it's a tragic thing. It's like a fatalistic crisis in the minds of so many young boys, for example, who look like me. And a lot of that, I think, can be combated with music, honestly. And it's a reason why people intentionally try to douse the flame of our music. And so we're talking about resilience today. Music is a weapon, it really is. And so I feel like I just have to do that. I have to do it. And it's the top of my priority list. And even if I'm indirectly doing it through all of my actions, I'm still doing it intentionally, like giving back. And I've had chances to like go and talk in schools and stuff, and I'm constantly getting asked to do that sort of thing. So more where that came from, for sure.
Well, and what about that dream of yours for North St. Louis?
The what?
That dream you have for North St. Louis, you want to create,
yeah.
You want to say that out loud? Because there's a pastor here from North St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. I can't say I want to start a church, but I want to, essentially, I want to shatter the glass between the club and the conservatory and make essentially that. This a place that teaches, it's kind of funny to say it like this, but Swagtime theory, the theory of digesting big, dense musical storytelling and distilling that with rhythm. That's the African approach. That's the African approach to European music. It's distilling big art music through rhythm to communicate it in accessible packaging. Like that's what the ragtime experiment did, and it proved that that works, at least in the West. And now our pop music is global, like I keep saying. So this theory is a modern approach to the acoustic response to all of the electronic innovation. So I was just doing the acoustic swag time, but this goes with beats and all that, like a whole production world that I'm constantly mapping out. But it's new territory. It truly is new territory.
And for someone to use the word in a beat and to rhyme the word egregious in a rap song, I think that's a mission in and of itself. Yeah. And Pillsbury Doughboy, and what was the other?
Yeah, true. I wonder about the
so good. Okay. I'm thinking of shifting gears on us. Royce, you're not done playing music yet, but are you okay with me kind of leading a little something real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so who agrees with me that this man's brilliant?
Thank you.
But something I've learned is he's not the only one. Everyone who just clapped is also brilliant. See, this creative source that Rick Rubin writes about as if he were a 16th century mystic, using the exact same language as people like Teresa of Avila or goodness, John of the Cross. He's writing language like that. That creative force is part of, it's a constitutive element to your soul. If Freud said libidinal energies is a constitutive element to your soul, right next to the libidinal energy is creative energy. It's how we were made. We were made to create. You know, whether it's my grandma who was the wife of a coal miner who could look into a refrigerator and see a gourmet meal there, and it was just leftovers on a very small budget. That's the kind of creative energy that flows through people like this and like this. Or the person who can just creatively interact with that child like Zach Galifianakis does on his gardening show, and can make that kid feel like lifting them up into the air as a star. What I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, is allow me to lead you by asking you to kind of close your eyes and to take a couple of creative breaths. And what I've asked Royce to do is to play something that brings us to that place inside where the creativity lives, just to connect us with that deepest part in ourselves. And with your eyes closed and intentionally breathing along with his music, I'd ask you to be in touch with the creative source at your core, and maybe it'll show up like pictures in an exhibition into your consciousness, like a sacred free association. I'd like you to ask yourself the question, just this: at this time and place in my life, what is creative energy trying to do in me and through me in my life? Hold that question in front of you with a loose grip. And Royce, will you take us on this sacred ride? And I invite you now to take a stand up, and let's acknowledge the brilliance that we are experiencing through this man at the piano by applauding.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
And a second standing ovation for the brilliance that you will be expressing this week in your life and the brilliance that's in you. A second standing ovation. Applaud. And now I would like to just say some thank yous before you take us out with something that might make us want to dance a little or tap our toes or something.
Yeah,
I want to say thank you to my wisdom circle that helps this kind of thing brilliantly happen. And that would be Mary Middendorf, who's here. It would be Kathy Moody, Diane O'Brien, my son John Harry, Dennis Kempf. I would like to thank Jane Stern and her husband Dan Stern, and also Sylvia McLean, who's here. And I want to thank my staff, the brilliant, talented, and lovely Abby Richter, who is my brain, and then Logan Janis, who's the producer, director, and sound engineer here, and we'll be dropping a podcast with this very event in the next couple of weeks. So listen to Sunday Morning Café to find that. Also, Julia Gaglione, who is my social media director. And now, who am I forgetting? Yumi, I forgot Yumi. She's the person with the microphone and so much else. Thank you, Yumi, and thank you, everybody. And thank you for supporting this event. Who am I forgetting now?
Liz. Shout out to Liz.
Oh, Elizabeth Cadell back there. Yes, our bartender. How could I forget you, Liz? Absolutely. And that is the thank yous. So would you take us out with something that's worth listening to? I mean, you don't have to dance if you don't want, but let's hear what he's got.
Tom's producer, Logan, here with a quick note. Don't miss the November 8th Sunday Morning Café event featuring Javier Mendoza. The link to get your tickets is in the show notes or at sundaymorningcafe.com. That's sundaymorningcafe.com.